Namaste, Periyava Sharanam. Today, the 5th of July, Sunday, is a very special occasion for all of us. This is the day of Guru Purnima, also called as Vyasa Purnima. On this special occasion, the Acharyas of various mats perform a specific puja to Vyasa Maharshi, and they also do the Sankalpam to start what is called as a Chaturmasya Vrata, which is a kind of vrat or a fasting that goes on for 4 months. Now, this is a very special occasion for a lot of the Astika community, and we generally don't miss this chance to go and visit our mat, be part of the puja, and receive the blessings of the entire Guru Parampara. However, because of the lockdown situation in various parts of the country, most of us are stuck to our homes, and we certainly miss participating in this puja and are wondering how to get these blessings. Given the situation, we at Kanchi Periyava Forum wanted to bring out this special material to you today, by which you can still be immersed in the thoughts of our Guru Parampara, submit your Vandanam to them, and receive their blessings as well. So, the information that we are going to present to you today is an extract and translation from various volumes of Devathin Kural, which contains the direct teachings and first person language of Sri Mahaswami, all written in Tamil. So, let's start with understanding what is Chaturmasyam. Sri Mahaswami explains that in a very simple manner. So, he starts by saying there are two different methods of writing the Panchangam, which is based on either the movement of the sun or the movement of the moon, and these are respectively called as Sauramanam and Chandramanam. The period of Chaturmasya is clearly a block of 4 months, and this is computed as per the Chandramana methodology. So, Mahaswami explains when does it start and when does it end. He says the Chaturmasya Vrat starts on the day of Ashada Masa Shukla Pakshe Ekadashi, which is the 11th day after the Amavasya in Ashada month. It starts from there because on that day Lord Mahavishnu gets into Sayanam or Nidra, and then he remains in that posture or in that state for a period of 4 months, and he wakes up again in the month of Kartika Ekadashi. So, this 4 months starting from Ashadha and running up to Kartika is called Chaturmasyam. So, a block of 4 months. So, to be exact, the Chaturmasya Vratam starts on Ashada month, Dwadashi Tithi. However, the Guru Purnima comes a couple of days after that. After the Dwadashi, a couple of Tithis after that comes Purnima, and practically in today's custom, we end up doing the Sankalpa for the Chaturmasya Vrat as part of the Vyasa Puja or Guru Purnima celebrations. So, that takes us to the next block, which is understanding the importance and greatness of Veda Vyasa. Mahaswami starts by explaining the root of the word of this name itself. He says the word Vyasa means to compile or to distribute or to arrange. So, he says Veda Vyasa is the one who undertook the great task of compiling Vedas and arranging them appropriately and distributing them in such a way that it will be preserved for the eternal benefit of the entire world. And this was something that Veda Vyasa undertook at the start of the Kali Yuga, and till today, if we are able to still hold on to some parts of the Veda and we are able to get the benefit out of that, we all owe great gratitude to Veda Vyasa. This great sage is also known by various names as Badarayana or as Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana was because he was born in a Dvipam, so it was like a derivative name. Similarly, he had another derivative name, and that was Krishna because of his color. However, because the word Krishna by itself is always used to mean Lord Krishna, just to differentiate Veda Vyasa, they always used to attach this Krishna to the Dvaipayana and call him as Krishna Dvaipayana. Now, having told us this part, Sri Mahaswami goes on to explain that in reality, Vedavyasa and Lord Krishna are not different at all. And he says Vedavyasa was indeed an avatara or an Amshavatara of Lord Mahavishnu. This is in fact attested by none other than Lord Krishna himself. In Bhagavad Gita Vibhuti Yoga, he says, Muninam api aham vyasaha. Not just that, there is also this popular shloka which says, Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. So having quoted these two examples, Sri Mahaswami says, now is it fair to say that Vedavyasa is an Amshavatara of Lord Mahavishnu alone? No. He is actually the form of Trimurtis. And Mahaswami goes on to explain how. He says, the popular Guru Shloka says, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnuhu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, where we see the Guru as the form of Trimurtis. And in the same way, there is another shloka specifically written about Vyasa Maharishi, which says, even though he does not have an eye in the forehead, he is still Sakshat Parameshwara. Even though he doesn't have 4 faces, he is still Sakshat Brahma. And finally, even though he does not have 4 hands like the Chaturbhuja of Mahavishnu, he is indeed Mahavishnu, says the shloka. Mahaswami goes on to explain what makes Vedavyasa so special. Is it the fact that he helped in compiling and preserving the Vedas? Not just that, because he did not stop there. In fact, he knew very clearly that the act of preservation of Vedas and continued propagation of that is possible only by a select few, because it requires a lot of commitment in terms of following prescribed rituals, anushtanams and all that. So here again, this great sage made yet another key contribution to the Sanatana Dharma. So what he did, because he compiled the Vedas, he also knew the sum and essence of the Vedas. So he picked the gems or pearls of wisdom or the key points of Dharma from the Vedas and embedded each of those Dharmas into simple stories that could be understood by the common man. So he picked each one pearl like that, magnified it in a nice way and presented it along with a host of other rules and rituals about worshipping different deities through the Puranas. So that's another huge contribution that Vedavyasa made. He is the author of what is called as the Ashtadasha Puranas or the 18 Puranas. In addition to this, he also authored the great Itihasa called Mahabharata. So Mahaswami gets us to think about all these great contributions of Vedavyasa, which is in the form of Vedas, Puranas and Itihasas, and says, until recent times, if many people of this country, including those who could not even read and write and who were living in villages, if all those people were able to lead a life of dharma and they had a lot of discipline, devotion and contentment, it is all because of this great contribution of sage Vyasa, because he got this dharma propagated through multiple different means, including to the last level common man who could understand these simple stories from the Puranas and was able to relate to it and follow it nicely. Let's not for a moment think that his list of contributions ends here, because there is yet another major gigantic work that was done by Vedavyasa, and that is in the field of Vedanta. He is the author of the great script called Brahma Sutram, which is a concise presentation of the Brahma Tattva enshrined in the Vedas and Vedanta. So it's because of this that Vedavyasa is given the title of Acharya, because he is one of the most important gurus or acharyas who taught us the Brahma Vidya. For this great script, Brahma Sutra, great Mahans from different philosophies have written bhashyams or explanatory texts. On this, the explanatory text written by our Adi Acharya, Sri Shankara, is certainly most popular, and it follows the Advaita doctrine. Similarly, Sri Ramanuja, following the Visishtadvaita philosophy, has written a bhashyam. So did Madhvacharya, following the Dvaita philosophy. as well as Sri Kantacharya, who followed the Shaiva Siddhanta philosophy, and Sri Vallabhacharya, who invented the Krishna Bhakti Marga. So each one of them have written Bhashyam for this Brahma Sutra, because Brahma Sutra is a celebrated text amongst the community of Pandits. So at this juncture, Sri Mahaswami brings to us an important point for consideration. He calls upon all of us who are born as Hindus and asks us to think of our roots for a moment. Now we might be following the Advaita doctrine, or we might be in the Dvaita or in the Saiva Siddhanta and so on. However, just because we are following a different doctrine or philosophy, it does not truly mean that we are divided or we are against each other or diverse. Mahaswami compares this situation to that of a big tree with many branches. Even though each of the branch could point to a different direction and be of different size, it is all part of this one single tree with just one base and root. So the mere fact that we are all continuing to live as Hindus and we are able to follow some part of the Sanatana Dharma, at least in our daily lives, it is all because of this great sage Vedavyasa, who had planted this seed of Vedas. So in fact, he should be considered as the Moola Purusha, or in fact the root of our Sanatana Dharma itself. That should really make us understand the extent of gratitude that we must show to Vedavyasa. So at this point, Mahaswami says, even though we all follow different doctrines or philosophies, we certainly have to do one duty together as Hindus. The ask is very simple. All of us Hindus have to come together at least one day in a year, leaving aside all our philosophical differences, and join hands to celebrate and worship the great sage Vedavyasa. Mahaswami says that in the current day we have many different functions like inauguration of somebody's painting or sculptures and so on, but the most important thing and the great duty of every Hindu is to come together and make sure that this worship and celebration of Vedavyasa happens at least once each year. He says people of every small village or town should come together and conduct this in a grand manner each year, incorporating a Veda Sammelan as part of the celebration. This is in addition to the other modes of worship that we have as part of our rituals. He quotes as an example the Upakarma festival that is held each year to replenish or change the sacred thread, wherein people from Brahmacharya and Grihasthashrama participate. As part of the rituals in the Upakarma, we invoke Vedavyasa Maharshi in a kumbham and we perform puja, tarpanam and homam as part of our gratitude to him, and we also seek his blessings to continue with the rituals and for us to continue our lives in the Vedic way, to follow the Sanatana Dharma. Here Mahaswami asks a question. So is it enough for people from Brahmacharya and Grihasthashrama to show their gratitude? What about sannyasis? And he himself answers that sannyasis must show their gratitude even more, because it is Sri Vedavyasa's blessing that came to us as the core of Vedanta in the form of Brahma Sutra. So to show this gratitude only, sannyasis undertake this Vyasa Puja once each year on this special day of Ashada Purnima, which is also called as Guru Purnima or Vyasa Purnima. Sri Mahaswami also goes on to explain that in all the mutts that follow Advaita Sampradaya, we worship the entire Guru Parampara on this day of Vyasa Puja. It is customary to bring together gurus who have some mutual relationship into a group of 5 called as Panchakam and keep doing pujas for each of those Panchakams. As an example, he says the Manasa Putras of Brahma, who are called Sanaka Dayaha, along with Sanad Sujatar, are brought together as a group of 5, and for that Panchakam a puja happens. So similarly, he goes on to point out that one of the Panchakams groups is called as Dravidacharya Panchakam, as part of which we offer our worship to Sarvajñatma, who is one of the 6 disciples of Adi Acharya and almost the founding member of Kanchi Kamakoti Mutt. Yet another interesting incident around Vyasa Puja is mentioned by Sri Mahaswami as part of Acharya Charitra. So he says, while Acharya started his Advaita discourses at the Mukti Mantapa in Banaras, when he came down to Kanchi also, he did his discourses at first in the Mukti Mantapa, which is in the Sarvatirtha Kharai. To indicate this and as a remembrance of this incident, even today, on the day of Vyasa Puja, the Vigraham of Adi Acharya is brought from Kamakshi temple to Sarvatirtha Kharai, where the disciples can worship him and get the blessings. Okay, so now having understood the importance of Chaturmasya Vrat and of Vyasa Puja, how can we pay our gratitude? We just have to listen to Mahaswami and follow his advice on this point. He says that there is this Guru Vandana Shloka, which is for the entire Guru Parampara, starting with Lord Mahavishnu and running all the way to the present day Shankaracharyas. So he says each one of us must make it a point to memorize this shloka and chant this as part of our daily puja with deep gratitude in our minds. We bring you this shloka now with a very slow chant so that you can easily follow. We are also making the text available to you, and we sincerely hope that you take this opportunity to seek the blessings of our entire Guru Parampara on this special occasion. Narayanam Padmabhuvam Vasishtham Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindram Athasya Sishyam Shri Shankaracharyam Athasya Padmapadam cha Hastamalakam cha Sishyam Tam Totakam Vartikakaram Anyan Asmat Gurun Santatam Anatosmi. Let us also think of the divine feet of our Adi Acharya and of our Mahaswami, who is the direct avatar of Adi Acharya, with the chanting of these 2 shlokas and seek their blessings. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadam Shantarupinam Shri Chandra Shekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham. Jai Jai Shankara Hara Hara Shankara. Sri Mahapiriva Sharanam. A presentation by Kanchi Piriva 4.